Hello, it's Hannah.
And Donovan.
And this is our podcast called My Thing, Your Thing.
Yep, we are back with another James Bond film once again.
And I am excited about this one because this is our first Connery-free Bond movie.
That's right. Connery is out. No more Sean Connery until the next movie.
He's tired. Let him nap.
Yeah, he's gonna get a couple of years to nap here. Not many years, mind you, but a couple.
Well, he's also going to do some other weird stuff. Because, isn't this roughly... Not roughly, but after this is when he does Zardoz and
no. So he does that after he finishes with James Bond.
Yeah,
in fact,
of course, yeah.
we will talk about that in the next movie because essentially
Zardoz. We're talking about Zardoz in the next movie.
I mean, we kind of a little bit.
Hell yeah, we should do a Zardoz episode because I have seen it and you have not, and I also fell asleep while I was watching it because I had a low grade fever and it is already a fever trip of a movie.
It's absolutely a fever dream already. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my dad has it. We could borrow it.
All right. So, the big thing for this movie, which is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I will mess that up at some point. I'll be on Her Majesty's...
I'm never going to say it right. I'm calling it right now.
Fair enough.
Apologies.
Yeah. You can just call it OMS.
OMS.
So, Sean Connery, he did the 5 movies that he was contractually obligated to do. And now he's done. Did You Only Live Twice? And he decided, you know what? I'm out. I'm too old for this shit. I'm done.
I got thrown across the room so many times, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. And, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I get it. But what are you going to do? You're making James Bond movies. You want to make way more because it's basically like printing money at this point.
There are so many books.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So you got to find a new James Bond.
Casting call?
Casting call. So they consider a bunch of, actors.
Sure.
Weirdly, not the same ones that they did earlier, nor even the ones that they do here pretty soon. It seems like just right here at this specific point, they didn't have access to some of the people that they liked. They had considered Roger Moore before, but I think Roger Moore was too busy at the moment, he couldn't do it. They couldn't really find somebody that they super, super liked. They tried an actor named John Richardson.
Sure.
A British actor who was in some stuff. In fact, he was even in a movie with Ursula Andress, who played Honey Rider.
Yeah.
Obviously, that didn't work out. And if I'm being honest, looking at pictures of him, he does not seem like, that kind of guy. He was the lead in a bunch of, Italian films.
It's also got to be, a weird sweet spot to hit, because you don't want someone who's, super famous so that their fame is going to overpower, the Bond IP.
Yeah.
But you also don't necessarily want to cast a complete unknown, because then you're entrusting, this legacy of what you're trying to aim for, the legacy of films, to somebody who could absolutely fuck it up.
Interesting that you would say that you wouldn't hand it to a complete unknown. Interesting how you would say that. But anyway,
Spaghetti-O.
One of the other guys was this guy Oliver Reed that they considered. Oliver Reed, he was in a bunch of Hammer horror films. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in a ton of historical film dramas. That was kind of his thing. Probably the latest movie that he was in, because he died in 1999. This literally his last movie was Gladiator. He played the old Gladiator in Gladiator.
Oh, that's why I know that guy. Okay.
Yeah, Antonius Proximo. Good name.
It's a very, very Romany Ladny name.
But they kind of felt like he sort of had a particular thing and that he didn't necessarily fit what they were going for. They also considered Terrence Stamp. Terrence Stamp was General Zod in Superman, in the 70s.
Never seen Superman.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was in Star Wars Episode 1. He was in the movie Wall Street. Just a really...
Been around the block.
Yeah, famous actor who's been around a long time. I could maybe see doing it, looking back at the time. He kind of had the look, and also, obviously, he was just a really good actor. But they ended up not going with him either. So, instead, they went with this guy...
This guy.
Let me tell you a little bit about one George Lazenby. George Lazenby was born in 1939 in Australia. He was in Goulburn, New South Wales, which is not a place I've ever heard of.
Sorry, any listeners we have in Goulburn, New South Wales?
Yes, all three of you, I'm sure. All three of you in the town, not listening. There are only three of you in the town, I'm assuming. He served in the Australian Army, for a bit, because that's what you did back in those days.
Sure.
I don't think he necessarily fought in any wars or anything, because, it was Australia and it was the 50s, so I don't think he was serving in Korea.
No. Well, no.
He would have been,
I don't want to definitively say that, but probably
he would have been too young at that point.
Yeah, fair.
His story of how he becomes James Bond is stupid. Let me just say this right now. It's really stupid.
Oh, listeners, you cannot see the look of delight upon my face right now. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. So, George Lazenby was living in Australia, doing his thing. He fell in love with a girl.
Aww.
And so he was like, I love this woman. I believe she was British, like vacationing in Australia.
Sure.
And so he was like, I'm going to move to London to pursue her.
Sandy!
So he moves to London, and he gets a job as a car salesman, just to kind of pay bills and make ends meet. While he's selling cars, a talent scout sees him and is like, that man is beautiful. You must be a model. I will pay you £25,000 a year, which in the early 60s was a lot of money.
I was going to say, that's a pretty solid chunk of change.
Yes. He did a ton of stuff. In 1966, he was voted top model of the year by whoever does that.
I don't know, like Vogue, probably.
Sure. During this time, when he's living in London and being a model, randomly, out of nowhere,
Is he still married?
What do you mean married?
Oh, no. He never actually married her.
Yeah, no, he just followed her to London and then...
And then stayed.
Yeah, and then just stayed. Yeah.
Can you imagine being the woman who's like, yeah, this guy followed me from Australia, and then, like, I didn't want to date him, and now he's a model and potentially James Bond?
Yeah. So, during this time, he's doing his modeling. He went to a barbershop to get his hair cut. Someone else also got their hair cut at this barbershop. Albert Broccoli, the producer for James Bond.
Man, he used to just be able to do shit.
And Albert Broccoli, literally, apparently, a few years before he actually cast him, saw him and said, he looks the part. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to see George Lazenby in a minute. He and Sean Connery do not look the same, but they are of the same type of man. They are tall, brunette, strong jaw, like they're cut from the same cloth,
Sure.
You kind of have to admit, pretty good.
There's a resemblance there.
Yes.
They got a vibe.
Like a year later, while they're trying to find a replacement for Sean Connery, George Lazenby is in a television, I believe it's a television advertisement. It was certainly a bunch of advertisements in magazines and things like that for Fry's chocolate bars. A chocolate bar company that we don't have in America. It's like a British thing. He saw him and said, that's my new James Bond. And so they hired him. George Lazenby had done a total of 0 acting.
Oh, no.
He had done none whatsoever. 0. And not only that, they didn't even hire a coach for him.
None acting with left beefcake.
Yes. None acting with left beefcake is exactly correct, Hannah. That's amazing. So they were like, this guy should be Bond. So they bring him in for an audition. Lazenby did his audition, and apparently they were doing some, like, action sequence, like trying to, so they had a stunt coordinator on there. The stunt coordinator we'll actually talk about a little bit later because he's also in the movie. He's a professional wrestler. He's a big, muscular guy. Apparently, Lazenby punched him in the face, and Broccoli was so impressed with, like, his physicality and his aggression that they were like, this man, James Bond, 100%.
Oh, no.
And so they hired him to be Jamuel Bondison.
Oh, no.
As you have called him before.
Oh, no. I hope that guy got some compensation for getting punched in the face.
I'm sure he did. I mean, he's in the
movie. He probably knows how to, like roll with the punches a little bit.
Yeah,
so
he
that,
was
like,
a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a big... You'll see him in the movie.
I hope he's okay.
And so they got on George Lazenby. Unfortunately, they did not get the director. They didn't get Lewis Gilbert, who had just done You Only Live Twice.
Did they get Ken Adams?
Ken Adams is back.
Oh, thank God. There's hope.
Yeah, Ken Adams is in pretty much most of these for a while.
Sure.
And when he leaves, you can really tell. 'Cause
Yeah.
we kind of skated over this point, but, he didn't do From Russia with Love, and From Russia with Love has the most different look than the other four. The other four have a very specific, distinct look, and From Russia with Love does not have that. It's much more of a spy movie of the time. It has the city and it's...
Yeah, the Spectre offices are it's an office building. It's not an evil villain lair.
Yeah. And so, and it looks cool because the cinematography in that one is really great. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But it's not the same kind of interior design. Lewis Gilbert, actually, he didn't want to do it. He just kind of was like, I don't really have any other ideas. So they got the second unit director and the editor from the previous film, Peter Hunt. We talked about him last time.
Okay.
Peter Hunt, he did the recut of the last film, and people really liked it. He also directed...
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang!
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang!
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and actually Peter Hunt did a ton of stuff. This is the only... I'm so sorry. He was the title sequence director for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh,
he didn't direct
enough.
the whole movie. He
just the title sequence. Still though, it's a connection. We're there. We got it.
Yeah, pretty good. He was mostly known for being an editor, but he did do some directing, and that's great. Really good. So Richard Maibaum, the screenwriter for the first four movies who did not do You Only Live Twice, remember Roald Dahl did the last one.
Right.
He's back. And Hunt and Maibaum kind of decide that, look, we're getting a new James Bond. We're going to kind of scale it back a bit. Like the last few movies, basically ever since Goldfinger, they've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger in budget. We've done tons of special effects. They've been very sci-fi. This is going to be a more grounded Bond. We're going to have more guns and action and that kind of thing, and less sci-fi gadgets and things like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Justice for my boy Q.
So because of that, the budget, which was $10 million for the last movie, is cut back down to $7 million, which is what it was for Thunderball.
Still a pretty solid amount of money.
Still a solid amount of money, but considering that 5 years before this, because On Her Majesty's Secret Service would come out in 1968, or 4 years before this, sorry, $7 million was crazy amount of money. Now it's still a lot,
Yeah.
but not as crazy as the last one was with $10 million.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not getting a volcano layer out of $7 million, but...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In another change, Roald Dahl kind of specifically said, this movie's going to have nothing to do with the book, because You Only Live Twice is terrible. I don't like it. And Ian Fleming's my good buddy who died, and so I can say that it's bad, This one...
I love you, man. You wrote a real stinker.
Mm-hmm. On Her Majesty's Secret Service was considered one of the better Fleming stories.
Oh.
So they actually said, we're going to stick to the script. We're going to stick to the book.
Right.
They had been kind of thinking about doing On Her Majesty's Secret Service since the third film, but because they had to film it in Switzerland, because that's where most of the movie takes place, kind of up in the mountains, it was kind of hard to get that all sorted, so they're finally doing that here.
You've also got to assume that there's a little bit, even if they get all of the funding and stuff together to go do this one, there's always the chance of that there's just going to be shitty weather, so...
That is correct. Apparently, in one of the first drafts of the film, they actually had a plot point where Bond was going to get plastic surgery. That's why he looked different.
Ah.
They eventually drop it, but that actually kind of introduces a plot hole. You'll probably see it when we watch the movie, because... if this is supposed to be the same guy, and it is, why doesn't anybody recognize him? He goes to Blofeld's house, and Blofeld literally just had his volcano lair explode, and he's just like, who's this guy?
Who's this motherfucker?
It does not really work. Yeah. But in general, this movie was trying to emulate the first two Bond movies, not the Goldfinger to now.
Why? Those are better.
I agree, but apparently that's what they really wanted to do. I don't know why. Blofeld, by the way, is back, but they got a different actor. for him,
Yeah, you said.
which was kind of a bummer because I thought Donald Pleasance did a really great job. But
He did. He was very fun.
he's not in a ton of the movie, but he does do a pretty good job. Apparently, they thought about doing Max von Sydow, and Max von Sydow would actually play Blofeld in Never Say Never Again.
No, yeah.
Way down the line. But eventually they decided on Telly Savalas. Telly Savalas was a Greek-American actor who was in a ton of war movies. He was in war movies, historical movies. He was also in Genghis Khan.
No.
He was in The Dirty Dozen. He was in Birdman of Alcatraz. That's actually what he got an Academy Award nomination for. Tons of stuff. He also had a singing career. He had a #1 single in 1975.
In the American charts or the British charts?
British charts.
Okay, that makes sense. 1965, the British charts were not doing a whole bunch of fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the mid-70s were a weird time for British music. Speaking of music, that was done a little differently for this one. There's an instrumental title track. They don't have like a lyric title track.
Oh, there's
like they have for the
there's
first
not like
few.
a sung theme song.
Yeah, it's similar. Like I said, it's more similar to the first two. Also, you couldn't, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, like...
That's not a line that you can sing very well.
Yeah, you would have a little trouble with that. They did sometimes get that, but, there is a song written for the movie called We Have All the Time in the World, which was sung by Louis Armstrong.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Love a good Louis.
Absolutely. Love Louis Armstrong. He is struck by the curse, though, because he dies 2 years after this.
No!
Yeah. The curse.
James Bond as an evil trickster god, both in the movies and apparently real life.
Yeah. But in general, the score, which, was done by John Barry, is really highly regarded. No matter what you think the rest of the film, the score, very influential. In fact, the movie, The Incredibles, the trailer for the movie The Incredibles used some of this score.
Oh, yeah,
And
because that song, like, the soundtrack for The Incredibles is basically all big brass, like, mid-century kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And apparently John Barry was actually offered the chance to do the score for The Incredibles, but he kind of declined because he was like, I don't want to do something that's deliberately hearkening back to some of my early stuff.
Sure, it's fine if other people interpolate my work, but
Yeah.
me just copy-pasting what I've already done, that's not really fun for me.
Yeah, exactly. And they filmed this movie over 7 months in Switzerland.
That I don't know anything about how movies are filmed, but that seems like not enough time.
Really? Not enough time.
Is that too much time?
For those days, that's a long time. Movies,
really?
Movies back in those days were filmed in like three or 4 months.
That's insane. That's an insane work pace.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it worked back then. There are a few other scenes filmed elsewhere, but that was the majority of where they did it. So, all right. Are you ready to watch your first James Bond who isn't Sean Connery?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is George Lazenby the guy who does in the gunsight point and shooty guy? Is that him or is that somebody else?
It actually is him.
It is him.
They do film him. Yeah.
Fun. Okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. You'll
Yeah.
see it here soon.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day. Wakes the
And we're back.
Oh boy, are we.
Yeah. First impressions.
This might be my favorite Bond movie.
Are you kidding me?
It's not the best. It's not the best. As I have well established, I have terrible taste and I love bad things, and this movie is terrible and I love it. Thus far.
Wow.
Favorite thus far.
I was worried about this. I was legitimately a little worried about this.
It's so bad. And okay, I'm going to say something controversial.
Yeah.
I don't think Lazenby's acting is that bad. I just think that he was given terrible stuff to work with.
I'm going to say, so I have mixed feelings on Lazenby because he's not horrible. You never watch that movie and go and like he never does a line reading or he never does something that's just like really awful and unforgivable. There are some actors that you can like watch them on screen and you're like, "Oh, why are they like, he never does that."
Yeah.
But he also doesn't bring anything to any scene.
No.
He's very like he doesn't command anything.
He is saying the words on the script.
Yeah.
And he is not conveying emotion because that's not what his job is. His job is to throw punches and get punches thrown at him.
Then why have him be the like most sensitive and like lover boy version of James Bond? Like Yeah,
good question.
If anything, you'd want him to be a more stoic one. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think he brings a lot to the role, and I
No, I agree. I see what you said earlier when you were saying that he and Connery were like cut from the same cloth. Like they do look similar, not the same, but they look similar.
They have a similar look. Yeah, even though they don't look the same, they have a similar look.
If you told me that they were like cousins or something, I'd be like, yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. They sort of have a look of like semi-related.
There's so much about this movie that is just either A, so completely wrong, or like B, just like 8 degrees off center that it's like irritating. And I need to talk about all of it. So like from the cold open, the editing is fucking wild.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that this movie was directed by an editor because there's like so many jump cuts. There's so many weird like shots where you're seeing the same shot in a couple of seconds from 20 different angles, and there's just like boom, 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 boom. It's kind of hard to follow.
It's very like disorienting.
Yeah,
and I'm going to use a technical film review phrase here.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of continuity of continuation of motion.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times when like the important information on the screen, like from one cut to the next, is moving rapidly, and it's hard to track that.
I agree. I agree. There are times in this movie where I'm literally like my eyes are like I can't follow what's happening. Like what is going on?
That might be why I like this movie, because I just love movies where you just kind of sit back and it washes over you, and like you don't like I'm not being asked to engage with this. Shit's happening on the screen and I'm witnessing it.
It's so weird because like we have a lot of similar sensibilities when it comes to things that we like, but we also have some things that we're very different on.
Yes.
And like the number one thing for me is like it has to be comprehensible and it has to have a flow. Like the number one thing in any movie I've ever watched is if I am sitting there and going, all right, okay, come on, let's go. If that ever happens, that to me is like a point off the movie immediately, and that happens a couple of times in this movie.
Yeah, there were like 3 shots that went on for far too long.
And not only that, but like I would say this movie sort of has like 3 sections, and the first 2 kind of don't have anything to do with each other.
No.
And then the third one is sort of like the 2 of them combined.
Yeah, like, so the main bad guy, Blofeld, doesn't come up until, like, way into the movie. And, like, they're talking about him, and James is trying to get to him, but, like, there's not a tangible threat at that point.
No.
Like, the threat comes after we've already met Blofeld.
Yeah.
Like, James just wants to get to him because he wants to keep his job.
Yeah, so, essentially, the plot of this film.
Sure.
Cold open, you've got...
Oh, what happens in the cold open is that everyone's like, oh my god, where's James? He's not here. And then he's like driving along.
Yeah, he's just like driving along a road and he sees this lady trying to drown herself.
He like follows her car for a little while at first, and then like she stops at the beach and then he follows her, and then she tries to just like walk into the ocean and kill herself. And he's like, no. And because you're expecting a James Bond movie, you're thinking like, oh, she must be like a target or an informant or like something like, no, she's just a random person.
She's a random person, but then there's also 2 guys who want to kill
kill him, save her, kill her. It's unclear.
It's unclear.
2 goons show up on the beach, and James Bond kicks their ass.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, he had, like, driven down onto the beach to get to her faster, and then, like, she takes his car and drives it back up the beach.
Yeah.
And we're like, is she stealing his car? No, she just wanted to get away from him a little bit faster.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, this never happened to the other guy.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, fourth wall break joke. Okay, fine, sure, whatever. Then you go right to credits. That's fine. Whatever.
He does directly address the camera, doesn't he? That's
he
a
does.
bit odd.
It's the first time they really did anything like that, and as far as I know, it's like the last time. They don't really ever do anything like that.
Once a series.
Yeah.
Well, he fucks around for a while in wherever that place was, and like plays baccarat with her, and he like keeps just like showing up around her.
Right.
We find out that her name is Tracy.
So they go. I believe that's Lisbon.
Sure.
I believe they're in Portugal there, and she's got like these goons around her, you know, like,
oh yeah.
James Bond is like trying to meet with her. She plays baccarat with him, and then she doesn't have any money, and he pays for her bet, and then he goes to her hotel, and like there's a guy in her hotel room, and he beats the crap out of that guy, and then he goes to his own room, and she's in there, and she's like, well, you've bought me for the evening, and he's just like,
I don't believe that I did that.
I don't believe so, but then they still have sex, I think.
And they slept at, they had like sex on the balcony, on like a chaise lounge out in the balcony, and then he slept with his dick out all night long on that balcony.
Bad. Don't do that.
Especially because his balcony looks directly down onto the pool, and I don't know if anybody from the pool could see up to his balcony, but like maybe just don't even fucking risk that.
Yeah.
I assume there are children out and about.
Yeah, who the hell knows? I mean, maybe it's a casino and, you know, a hotel and there's no children there, but...
That also, sorry, every so often I'm just gonna be like, hey, remember that weird fucking shot? You remember that weird fucking shot where, like, he's like, in his hotel and he's like, oh, yes, it'll do nicely. And then it, like, points out his room out the balcony and you can, like, see the pool right there.
Yeah.
And then it, like, hard cuts to the pool at nighttime and there's, like, a giant neon casino sign in it.
Oh, yeah, like, reflected in it?
But it's very clearly reflected in like a puddle because the way that the water is moving, it's not what like it would look like from that far away. It's very clearly like a wet ground puddle.
Yeah, it's very odd. It seems like they're trying a little too hard with some of those kinds of shots.
Yeah.
It turns out that those goons at the hotel work for this guy Draco. Draco is a crime syndicate boss, but like they're not as bad as Spectre. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're the second worst crime syndicate. And he's also got his fingers in a bunch of legitimate businesses like construction and import.
Yep, and it turns out that this lady, Contessa Teresa, or Tracy, is his daughter.
And she is desperately depressed. She wants to die.
She does not want to be around anymore. Her life is miserable, all that kind of stuff. And Draco, being the doting father that he is, tries to sell her to James Bond.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do you want, like, you seem like a strapping young lad. Do you want to fuck my daughter back to mental health?
That's literally what he says. You think we're kidding? Like, we're paraphrasing, but that is what he says. He says, make love to her, and maybe she'll love life again. Like, that's what... And he's like, you know, you've done so much for her. And it's like, guy, they met yesterday. What in the world are you talking about?
Like, yeah, he saved her life. Maybe she wouldn't have been able to drown herself in the ocean like that. Maybe she would have had a change of heart and come back with a zest for life, and James Bond fucking stepped on that. You have no idea.
Yeah. So he does this whole thing. He comes back to London.
Oh, yeah. So he says that he's not going to marry her for money, but because Draco might have information on Blofeld, maybe he'll marry her for information.
Yeah. Again, ew. So he goes back to London. He talks to M, and M is like, you know, I'm taking you off of the case.
Yeah, you've been doing a shitty job. You've just been, like, fucking off around Europe, and so you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're on desk work.
Yep, and then he walks into the room with Moneypenny, and he's like, I'm gonna write a resignation letter, and Moneypenny is like, okay, I'll hand it to him. Then he goes back to his room, M calls him in and says, granted, and it's like, oh shit, he resigned, and then Moneypenny's like, read it, and she gave him, I want 2 weeks leave, not...
I'm quitting.
Not I'm quitting. And he's like, okay, sure, what would I do without you? You know, like both of them sort of realize that she pulled a stunt there.
And he kisses her on the lips as he leaves, which is like, feels like it's crossing a bit of a line that they've...
Oh, they have crossed the line so many times.
I know, but like they've flirted together a lot, and he's been very like touchy-feely, but he gave her like the kind of peck on a lip that a lover would. And it just...
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing that like... Fine, like, flirt with the secretary, that's gross to me, but whatever. But, like, actually fucking kissing her, that's weird and gross.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're giving her all sorts of false hope right now.
Yeah.
Especially because you absolutely have no intention of getting together with Miss Moneypenny, and she's cool and smart and clever, and is way better than you.
Yeah. And she was on a submarine.
And she fucking decorated that submarine.
Yeah, she did a great job. So then he goes on vacation in, I assume, Spain?
Spain or Portugal, probably.
Yeah, it's not very clear.
Unclear. Somewhere in Europe.
Yep.
Continental Europe.
But he's hanging out with Draco again, and he meets Tracy again, and the two of them fall in love.
Over the course of a montage that we can only assume took like
an afternoon.
Yeah, like 36 hours.
Yeah. Literally, it seems like they rode horses and went to the beach, and now they're in love.
Yeah.
And
we also met Draco's assistant and potential mistress, who looks like she's about 16.
Oh.
It's gross and weird. And like she and my God, Tracy. She and Tracy are having a conversation, and like Tracy, like the dynamics going on here is insane to me. Tracy absolutely has to know her father is like, this is his mistress that she is talking to, and they're just having a normal conversation about regular shit. It makes me angry, as you can probably tell.
Although she like is on Tracy's side, like she's like, hey, I'm telling you what's happening. Your dad's like making moves behind your back.
Yes,
you know, yeah, it's kind of weird. But,
and then she disappears from the film,
and
never
then
to be seen or heard from again.
Basically disappears from the film. But Bond uses this connection to get into an office building in Switzerland where he knows that there's a lawyer who's working with Blofeld, or his French word for Blofeld, which is Beauchamp.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's how that works, but apparently that's the French version of Blofeld. And it turns out that he is trying to get someone from the Royal College of Arms and Heraldry in London to say that he is a count. Count Beauchamp. For reasons that remain unclear throughout the movie. He sort of just like wants to be a count.
Real quick, he just like goes to this guy's office, somehow has a key to this lawyer's office, gets in there, and then because he's working with Draco, who's got like construction.
Yeah,
he works in construction. He's got a goon. Oh, poor Blondie Skulksman. He's got a goon stationed across the street, and he like puts a box in a crane bucket, and the box goes up to Bond, and it's a machine that both cracks open safes and can do like photocopies of shit.
Yeah, photocopying,
which probably would have been really impressive in 1967. Is that when this is?
This movie came out in 69, but they filmed it in 68.
Yeah. Probably would have been very impressive. Like a portable small photocopier would have been very impressive in 1969. Yeah. Okay. Pretty impressive in 1969. Now it's like, did they not have that? Like, it's almost impossible to tell what the level of technology was.
My question is, what did they power it with? Because you didn't plug it in.
Yeah, there's like,
does it have a battery?
The biggest batteries.
Yeah.
So then he like leaves, but he also steals that guy's Playboy magazine.
Yeah, it says weird gag. Very weird gag.
And he's like, he whips open the centerfold in the middle of the hallway in this very prestigious lawyer's office.
Yeah. What in the world?
This is gonna sound like we're nitpicking, but these are weird nits, and I'm gonna pick them.
That to me maybe is one of the big takeaways from this film is there's just lots of weird like what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Huh?
There's a weird thing that keeps happening with the sound editing where like people's lines are slightly cut off, or like the shot changes before the line ends.
Yeah.
So like someone will be saying something and like they're in the middle of the line and the scene changes, but like their line continues.
Because they're like walking away. My theory on that is that they didn't record that line live. That scene was like silent, or there were different lines. And so they're waiting for these times where they turn so that they can dub over whatever.
Sure.
And so, like, the lines are happening at weird points in scenes. again, like,
it just makes the movie feel like hectic.
it's very confusing, and the cuts are done in a very weird way that you're just sort of like, what are we doing here? What's happening? So we find out about the college thing. So they fly from Switzerland to England.
Yeah.
And he meets with the college.
Oh, and my favorite shot happens when like it's right after they've had this like beautiful montage of them falling in love, and then Draco, Tracy, and Bond are all in the car, in the backseat of a car together, and Draco is in between the two of them, and they're staring at each other with the loveliest of dovey eyes, and he looks so fucking uncomfortable.
He is, like, really uncomfortable. He's like, oh, I wanted this, apparently.
Yeah, goddamn, I made a bad choice here.
Yep. But Bond decides that he is going to pose as this guy from the College of Arms and Heraldry or whatever, to go and infiltrate Blofeld's hideout. So he does that. He goes pretending to be this guy, goes on a helicopter up in the Swiss Alps. It's all very pretty, very nice. And then he gets into this mountaintop fortress, essentially, which I guess in real life is a restaurant. And he basically just fucks around for a couple of days.
He really does.
He doesn't do a lot. He does some snooping. He doesn't do a lot of snooping.
He's like trying to get Blofeld to like go somewhere else where presumably he can like set up a sting operation on him or something. But Blofeld's not leaving his mountain, which why the goddamn hell would you?
Yep. He says, "Oh, let's go to Augsburg. That's where your family archives are," and that's how Blofeld catches him not being the real guy, because he's like, our family archives aren't in Augsburg. They're somewhere else. And it's like, okay, cool, great. Here's the weird thing about that whole sequence, though, and we talked about this before. There's a huge plot hole. Blofeld meets Bond in person, sees his face. They've met before. They've seen each other's face before. Obviously, it was Sean Connery, but if we're supposed to believe that this is the same guy, which we are supposed to believe it's the same guy, the intro credits have scenes from the previous movies saying this is the same guy. That doesn't make any sense.
He would look at him and go like, oh, hey, fuck, you're James Bond. I'm going to kill you now.
And, like, you know, we can maybe believe that Blofeld got some kind of plastic surgery, because he does talk about how he cut his earlobes.
Cut his earlobes off so he wouldn't have the Blowchamp earlobe
Yeah,
thing.
so he would have the Blowchamp ears or whatever. But, like, it's weird.
Also, like, if he got that plastic surgery, and they also did plastic surgery to, like, remove the scar on his eye, wouldn't they have done it, like, way before? That's a very identifying eye scar.
Yeah.
It seems silly that he would have had it for as long as he did.
It just seems like we're supposed to forget the last movie happened.
Yeah.
Is what it really feels like. Or we're supposed to believe that maybe this happens, like, before the last movie, but after Thunderball, but even that seems odd.
I think we're supposed to believe that Bond's acting as this heraldry guy is so good that, like, Blofeld did not initially recognize him. Because you did say that the guy that Bond went and talked to at the College of Heraldry, like, the guy that he's pretending to be, they got that actor to dub over Lazenby.
Yes, he did dub over Lazenby, so he's speaking with that guy's voice. Yeah. That is what is happening. But while he's at this resort, he just has sex with 2, at least, maybe 3 women, and it's there's kind of a goofy scene where they're all curling, and he keeps, like, every once in a while sort of splitting off to talk to one of the women privately, and they're like, oh, when do we meet? And he's like, 8 o'clock, and the other one's like, when should we meet? 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock,
and then another one's like, oh, 10 o'clock, and it's just like, so my guy.
There are like a dozen young hot women at this resort, and like ostensibly the cover is that this is a place that people can go to get therapy so they can cure their allergies.
Yeah.
One of the girls is like super allergic to chickens, and she went there, and like now that she's had this amazing therapy, she can like eat chicken no problem.
Yeah.
And they're all like young hot women. Like,
yes.
Not a single one of them looked around and was like, what, there are no guys who have allergies?
No.
Also, these are not real women. It is a gaggle of giggling girls.
Yeah, they basically are all interchangeable and have no personalities, except for, you know, it's like Captain Planet. They're all from around the world. Like, there's Africa, India, you know,
Ireland.
You know, it's very a rainbow of women. And it seems like it's implied that they all come from, like, some place that has, like, food production, because the chicken, like, girl is from a farm where they make chickens and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then, okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of imagery of, like, them eating food, eating dinner, because it's about the whole allergy thing.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, Blofeld's plan is to sterilize the world's food supply so that nothing will grow and livestock won't reproduce and all that kind of stuff.
He's holding the world hostage by saying, I'm going to take away all of your food. Hey guy, you also eat food.
Yeah, he doesn't say, like, oh, I have a seed supply up here that'll last me forever. Like, something like that would have made some sense.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything like that. And also, he doesn't go, I want $1 billion. He's just like, I want to retire, and I don't want you to put me in jail anymore.
I would like amnesty, and I would like you all to confirm that I am a count, and I'm going to go retire.
It just seems so weird. Oh, sorry. Forgot another weird thing about this. One of the other ways that they realize that James Bond is not who he says he is because apparently this professor of the College of Arms is gay, and James Bond keeps sleeping with these women, and so they realize, that must be a James Bond. Which is so...
Hey, Jameson Bondiki. Having sex with someone under false pretenses is rape. You piece of shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. And these women are being, like, brainwashed.
Yeah, they're literally being brainwashed.
By Blofeld to spread this virus or whatever.
Part of the they've been told that part of the therapy is that they have to, like, lay down and like watch a light show and listen to like a voice recording.
Yeah.
So they're being hypnotized, and like they're being hypnotized to not be allergic to anything anymore, but they're also being hypnotized to, like, be drones to spread this virus.
Yeah.
And he gives them, oh my god, I forgot about, before they leave, it's like Christmas time, and he gives them all presents, and inside it is like a little makeup kit. There's like a perfume and like a compact, and then like, I don't know, lipstick or something.
Yeah.
And the perfume is presumably the virus, and then the compact is actually a little communication device, and he's like, every night at midnight you will find yourself alone, and you will turn to this frequency and listen to me and wait for instructions.
Yeah.
This movie is terrible. I love it.
So James Bond and Tracy escape through the Swiss countryside, but they get caught in an avalanche caused by Blofeld.
But yeah, it's like the longest. Well, so there's a very long skiing escape, and then there's a cut for him to like run through a little winter fair, and then like Tracy is suddenly magically there for no reason.
I mean, they were in Switzerland,
sure,
but you're right. Like, it just seems, and she does say, she's like, "Well, I was keeping tabs on you," but how
did you get to this winter fair?
Never very clear.
So then they get in her car and they drive away, and then they have to go into like a stock car race?
Yeah, they're like driving through a race. There's this long action sequence where they do a number of things to escape. Then they drive into a barn because there's a snowstorm.
By the way,
spend a night in the barn.
The entire time that he has been like escaping from this place and skiing, he has been wearing this like skin tight blue jumpsuit, Sporticus looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
like exactly like him.
It's absolutely wild.
So they're in the barn, and it's. Nah, it's fine.
No, you can take this one, Hannah. I know you want to talk about it.
No, I was going to say something about how, like, did the person who owned the bar not know that some fucking strangers, like, rocked up in... He's got horses in there.
It's whatever.
But, like, they're hanging out, and they're cuddled up to warm up, and she's taken her jacket and also pants off. Don't know why. And she's like, oh, my love, let's have sex. And he says, save that for the wedding night. And I had to stop.
Yeah, she did not believe it.
Because it was just the most, like, James Bond saying, save that for the wedding night to a woman he very much wants to bone is just so absolutely bizarre to me.
And by the way, you must realize that he's
just had sex.
He has just proposed to this woman.
Oh, yeah.
And she has agreed to marry him. He has not mentioned that in the last 2 days he's had sex with like 3 different women.
And I don't think he's been able to take a shower.
And I don't think he's been able to take a shower that whole time. and we've talked about this before, about how he just like has sex with a woman and he comes back and doesn't get to shower and then has sex with another woman. My God,
wash your penis at the very least.
It is gonna fall off, my dude. It's gonna turn green and like rot off.
Gangrene of the dick.
Ew.
So he says save that for the wedding night, and then he like sets up a different bed.
Well,
he
says New Year's resolution. We're saving it for the wedding.
Oh, okay. So then he like sets up a slightly different bed for her, and it's like a little bit elevated off of his.
Yeah.
And then he just like takes a
pitchfork.
Yeah. So he just like takes a pitchfork and like knocks it over, so she has to roll down onto him, and he's like, "Well, it's New Year's."
It's not New Year's yet.
Oh, it's not New Year's yet. And then they have sex. So he's like, "No, let's save that for the wedding night." And then they immediately bone down in a dirty barn.
In a dirty horse barn. That smells like horse poop.
And he has not showered. And like, ew. Just, he's been like running all over the fucking Alps and like hasn't had a shower, and it's cold, but you're still sweating in that fucking spandex suit. He has swamp crotch like nobody's goddamn business.
So then the next day, they're escaping some more, and the villains found them again, and this is where they get caught in the avalanche that is caused by Blofeld.
Oh, this is like the goriest Bond movie yet.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a scene in the middle of this chase where there's a one of those machines that like clears snow off of roadways, right?
Yeah.
So it like gobbles the snow up and like shoots it out. And so one of these fucking goons gets caught in the machine, and then a spray of blood like goes over the side. And James Bond said, "Huh, he had a lot of guts." What the fuck? I actually, at this point, totally believe that you did not cry at the end of the movie when your wife died, because you are a cold and callous man.
But
especially for like a series when like the most blood has been like someone touching a bullet wound and like there's a little bit of red on their fingers, and every time someone gets shot, they just kind of go and then they're dead.
Yeah,
like this is a lot of gore.
It's wild where it kind of comes out of nowhere.
Exactly.
It's sort of jarring because you're not expecting it.
It was shocking.
Yeah. But they capture Tracy, his
fiance
friend
person,
and they don't see him. They think he's buried under the snow. They think he's dead.
Oh yeah, Blofeld says that might be a grave deep enough for even him to
not walk out of or
walk
whatever.
Out of,
yeah, but they capture Tracy, so he goes back to M and is just like, well, we have to help her. And he's just like, well, there's nothing we can do. And so we're
a government agency. We actually can't storm a personal private compound unless we have like a fucking warrant.
Yeah, well, no, that is not how he puts it. They know who he is, but he's going to sterilize the world's food supply unless we give him amnesty, so we're just going to let him go on this one.
Yeah, honestly, amnesty, not as small. Like, that's a pretty small price to pay.
Yeah.
Like, again, he doesn't want $1 billion. He just wants you people to not...
Which, again, the last movie, he was trying to start nuclear war, and then, like, the movie before that, he stole 2 atomic bombs, and this one, he's just like, I want to retire. Garbage. Fucking bullshit, dumb garbage.
Terrible stakes.
So James Bond has no other choice. He must join up with Draco, who's a crime boss and the father of his fiancée.
And extrajudicially murder this man.
Basically, yes. They get a bunch of attack helicopters together with dudes with guns on them, and they attack the mountaintop base in a pretty good fight scene. Let's be real.
It's pretty solid.
It's probably the best like action sequence of the movie.
Up until the bobsled chase.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But the part where he's actually attacking it, and Tracy is also fighting a guy.
Yeah, she tries to like cut a guy's throat with a broken bottle.
Yeah, she tries to give him the Glasgow smile,
Heck
right?
yeah.
Glasgow smile. Yeah, it's really it's a pretty brutal fight scene. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of like punching and kicking and like some good stunts. Lazenby like does a penguin slide on his belly for a second. It's pretty good. So now it is Blofeld's turn to escape. And so he does.
For a really long time.
Long time. They like ski for a bit, and then they bobsled for a bit. And the bobsled scene is like they're each on a separate bobsled, and then James Bond falls off his, but then is able to jump onto Blofeld's. even though Blofeld's was ahead of him.
Kick back in the trail. Like, it's a switch back in the trail.
Sure, I guess. Fine, whatever. And they're fighting on the scene. His when he got kicked off, it was from a grenade. He threw a grenade.
Oh yeah, Blofeld threw a grenade at him
and explodes, and he flies up, but then he's fine. Don't worry about it. James Bond cannot be harmed in any way that matters.
He's got bones of adamantium.
Apparently. So then they fight on the bobsled. Pretty good idea for a scene, but the cutting is once again so quick and so random, and you're like seeing falling and then turning and then falling and then turning and then shots from 5 different angles, and it's just
nearly impossible to actually glean what is going on.
Yeah, and then finally Blofeld hits a tree and gets stuck up on the branch of the tree. Bond makes some dumb branch joke.
He branched off.
Really dumb. And then hard cut.
Oh, yeah, there's this weird shot where, he jumps off of the bobsled, and then, the bobsled, goes off and crashes, and I made the joke, and then it explodes. But there is a cut in there when they're fading from the bobsled to the next thing, where there is, a little firework explosion where the bobsled is.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and it's just a hard cut to the wedding, right? Yeah. And now they're getting married. And everything's great. Everyone's having a great time.
Miss Moneypenny is so sad because James Bond is marrying someone that's not her.
Yep, and then M is talking to Draco, and he's just oh, you're the guy that gave us all that trouble in 64. And he's just yep, I sure was. And so the two of them are talking shop.
Yeah.
Which to me is just hey, this man's an international criminal, and you're the head of the British spy service. You should be arresting him.
Probably.
You should be arresting him.
On this, the day of his daughter's wedding.
You should be arresting him.
Q shows up. He's great. This movie needed more Desmond Llewellyn.
Yeah, he's in the first scene and the last scene, but he's great in both of them.
So good.
I love his character. And Miss Moneypenny's great. James Bond throws his hat before he gets in the car to Miss Moneypenny. It's a nice little scene. And then Q goes oh, he's got no respect for government property. It's fucking fantastic.
It's so good. Just brightens up every scene that he is in, and they don't use him nearly enough.
No, they don't. And then Blofeld and his second in command, the German lady who's been there the whole movie.
Brunt. Is that her name? Burnt? Bork.
Yeah, Irma Blunt. Yeah. They just do a drive-by shooting.
Yeah, they just do a drive-by shooting.
And kill Tracy.
They zip around so fast. They had time to stop and shoot a whole bunch to make sure he was dead, but they didn't, and so Bond survives, but Tracy dies.
And Blofeld's got he's got a neck brace on. It's very funny.
Blofeld is driving the car. He has a neck brace on, and Blunt is in the back with a fucking machine gun.
Yeah, and they just shoot and then drive off, not even checking. They've got a machine gun, and presumably neither Bond nor Tracy have any weapons on them. Maybe he's got his handgun on him, but whatever. They should stop and finish the job.
They have a machine gun and enough space in that car for a literal pallet of bullets. They could have just sat there forever and just poured bullets into that car to make sure he was dead.
It's ridiculous, and just Tracy gets shot right through the head, and then this...
It wouldn't have worked at that angle. When they shot, it wouldn't have worked like that.
Whatever.
Whatever.
At this point,
truly, whatever.
At the bottom of interest of all these situations at this point. And then the most nonchalant Swiss police officer shows up on a motorcycle and just kind of looks in the car. He doesn't say oh, Monsieur Bond, do you need anything? Or, he just kind of goes, mm-hmm. And then George Lazenby tries. He tries to look sad. I can believe that Bond is so stiff upper lip and has seen death so many times that he doesn't cry, and he just kind of is in a daze or something like that. Lazenby does not sell it. He just looks sort of mildly annoyed at the situation. He's just oh, we got all the time in the world now. All the time in the world. Sob.
Yeah, the captions sob, but no actual audible sobbing.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
This movie's terrible. I love it so much.
God.
Ken Adams set pieces were so good.
Oh, Ken Adams once again is the highlight of all of these films. He does a brilliant job. The cave that goes into the laboratory.
I want to eat that cave.
it's like frozen and blue, and it just looks amazing.
It looks slimy and disgusting and frozen, and I want to live there. And then oh right, so there's Blofeld's got there's part of his bookcase that goes up and down, and behind it is part of his secret plan, but it's just a map of the world. So during the invasion at the end, when they're doing James Bond is taking pictures of this thing, and in between the pictures it flashes up with pictures of these girls, but that's nowhere on the actual screen. And so one of the things that M said was that we have to give him what he wants. We have to give Blofeld what he wants, because we have no idea how many women there are and where they are and what targets they might acquire. And here's the thing. Hey, James, you're a fucking spy. Part of your job is information gathering. Instead of fucking those women, you could have been figuring out where they're from. You could have
been learning stuff.
It's so infuriating.
I said this during the movie. It's he is actually harming the mission by sleeping with these women. They sort of threaten to fire him a couple of times because of things that he does throughout these, but literally he jeopardizes the missions multiple times, and in this one especially, by trying to fuck these women.
Instead of figuring out, listening more to them about, talking, Ruby talking about her chicken farm. Oh, where is your chicken farm? All of that kind of stuff. He could have figured that out. Just basic information gathering of, oh, where are you from?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And Ruby...
And he doesn't do that.
Ruby is, a super annoying character. She's the one that he sleeps with first. She, writes her room number on his thigh while he's wearing a kilt with lipstick. And she's just kind of awful.
Oh, are you going to talk about her?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm not going to look any further at the credits then.
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. So that's the movie.
It's terrible. I love it. The phrase "it's terrible, I love it" is something that I say so often. Get used to it.
It's true. I'll talk about the actors now. So Blofeld, played by Telly Savalas. Like I said, he's a Greek-American actor. He was in a bunch of films. He was in The Greatest Story Ever Told. He was in Genghis Khan. He was in The Dirty Dozen. He was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor in The Birdman of Alcatraz. He was in the Living Doll episode of Twilight Zone, if you remember that episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that was him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But probably the thing he's most famous for was the character Kojak.
Hey, that is him.
Yeah.
You're beautiful, baby doll.
Yes, absolutely. New York Detective, lots of shows and movies. He won an Emmy for Kojak, and that's the thing that people know him for. He's been in a lot of stuff, but Kojak is what people remember him.
Yeah.
Tracy is played by Diana Rigg, who I love. I love Diana Rigg, and I think she's actually great in this movie. She's really good. The character is a little, all over the place, but she does a great job playing it. She's smart, she's sophisticated, she can handle the action, she seems like she's got a handle of herself. I think that's really cool. She was mostly known for playing Emma Peel in The Avengers, the show The Avengers.
Yeah.
We've had 2 Bond girls from The Avengers so far, her and Honor Blackman. Diana Rigg, she was a legend from that. She was in tons of film, TV, and stage. Most recently, the thing that everybody kind of remembers her for before she died was she was Lady Olenna in Game of Thrones, the Queen of Thorns or Lady of Thorns, and she's fantastic.
I have not seen Game of Thrones, the TV show. I've read all of the books, but from the clips that I have seen, she seems like she'd be my favorite character.
She's really good. Even in some of the later seasons, when it starts to go off the rails, she is still a joy to watch, just chew scenery and just be, obviously, the most interesting character in the room. Kind of a sad thing. Tracy Bond, her death is in the book and was likely inspired by Fleming's actual girlfriend during World War II, who died during the Blitz.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, she, was just at home and Germans bombed her house and it exploded and she died. Out of nowhere. And then,
oh, no.
And so that kind of informs this death, because it really feels like it comes out of nowhere, and you can kind of see why Ian Fleming did that. Draco is played by an Italian actor named Gabriele Verzetti, who was in tons of Italian films. That seems to be sort of the Bond formula, is that you have these other characters who are usually like the support character, like the head of the office, or some secondary villain.
Yeah.
And they're played by some Italian or European actor who's in tons of things in Europe, but like Americans don't know him because he didn't do a lot of like English language stuff. Irma Blunt, basically the sidekick for Blofeld in this one, the German lady.
I immediately confused her with number 2 from Russia with Love.
Yeah.
Different person, though.
Well, it has to be because she died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was played by a woman named Ilse Steppet. Ilse Steppet was a well-known German actress who was in a bunch of stuff kind of similar. Unfortunately, the curse.
Oh, no.
The curse. She died 4 days after the film came out.
Are you serious?
4 days.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
James Bond got her.
Yeah, she, the curse is real. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I agree.
Grunther, the henchman, the one that Diana Rigg fights and the one that kind of gets Bond in and out of his room, that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was played by Yuri Boryenko. Now, Yuri Boryenko was the stunt coordinator for this movie and was the guy that George Lazenby punched to get the job. He was a Polish professional wrestler. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Ruby Bartlett was played by Angela Skolar, who actually was in the 1967 Casino Royale James Bond movie that came out a few years prior to this. The other Angels of Death were all kind of minor models and actresses. However, except for one of them. The other English one, the one with long hair, that is Joanna Lumley. Dame Joanna Lumley.
Weird.
She is best known as Patsy Stone from the British sitcom Absolutely Fabulous.
Oh.
She was also in one of the Hammer Dracula films. She was in the new Avengers show, which came out later on. She was in 2 Pink Panther films. She was in James and the Giant Peach. She was in the live-action part of James and the Giant Peach. She did a voice for Corpse Bride.
Oh, yeah, she was one of the ants, wasn't she?
She was in Ella Enchanted, and recently she was in The Wolf of Wall Street. She's also known for doing a bunch of like political activism. Like that's just like a thing she's known for doing. I think that's why she got the Dame.
Rad.
Yeah, very interesting. These are the kind of characters that I always think are fascinating. That they just sort of come out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, this is a person who's actually done a bunch of stuff, and they played this tiny bit role.
Did you? There's something that I want to put out on our IMDb page, but I don't want to like spoil if you're building to something cool.
Who is it for?
It is for Joanna Lumley.
Yeah, go right ahead.
She was in the radio play for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. She played Irma Bunt.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the radio plays probably before the movies came out, right?
No. This was 2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, that's really cool. I did not know that. Now, Sir Hilary Bray, the herald in the College of Arms, was played by an actor named George Baker. George Baker was in a very small role in You Only Live Twice, in the last movie that we watched.
Yes.
The thing he's probably best known for, certainly the only thing that I really have seen him in, is he is Tiberius in I, Claudius.
Oh, interesting.
Which is fantastic. And apparently, George R. R. Martin has said that his portrayal of Tiberius in I, Claudius was a big inspiration for Stannis in Game of Thrones.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I think is really neat. Blondie McSkulksman. Apparently his name is Sean Campbell.
We didn't talk about him a lot, but I fucking love Blondie McSkulksman as he's just like kind of ambling around in the background and like keeping an eye on Bond for Drago, and
he's
just kind of there, and then he dies, and it's very sad. They're like, as they're like taking James Bond and like up in the Swiss Alps fortress, as they're like they're putting him in a room. Not like they're not killing him, they're just putting him in a room.
Yeah.
And like they go by this window and he like looks outside, and poor Blondie Skulksman is like hanging upside down by climbing ropes, and he's frozen to death. And Blofeld's just like, oh yeah, isn't it a terrible accident? How many people die up here every year? And I feel so bad. Poor Skulksman.
Apparently his name is Sean Campbell. That is never once mentioned in the movie as far as I know. And, he was played by a guy named Bernard Horsfall. Bernard Horsfall was in a couple of Doctor Who episodes through the 60s and 70s, and also Gandhi and Braveheart. So, Mr. Bit Part Man did a good job.
Yeah.
The last actor I want to talk about is Virginia North, who plays Olympe, Draco's mistress. She was only in a few films, and her last role would be in just a couple of years, which is The Abominable Dr. Phibes, which is like a cult horror film. If you've never seen it, I recommend it. It's weird.
I've not. We should watch it.
Yeah. And also, folks, get your drinks ready. Her voice is dubbed by Nikki van der Zyl.
Yeah.
Drink. The film, bunch of stunts. We talked about how they kind of like wanted to go back to a more like less sci-fi, more action-oriented James Bond. So they did lots of stunts, lots of fight scenes. I don't love how the fight scenes are shot.
No, it's very disorienting. It is. So there's like a problem with some modern action movies where there's so many cuts you can't tell who's punching who, and also everything's shot in the dark and everybody's wearing black because it's cool to wear black. This is somehow more disorienting because even though like James Bond is in blue and all of the goons are in orange, like shit keeps moving so fast and like there's so many cuts on the same scene, I can't keep track of who is who.
There are so many fights where like Bond is on the left and the hench guy that he's fighting is on the right, and then like they throw a punch and they do a thing, and then they like it's shot from the opposite angle, and then it's shot from the other opposite angle, and you're like, wait, who's on what side? Like what's going on? You can't follow the action very well. Something that I think we talked about in You Only Live Twice. There's the fight scene in The Office, and that fight scene's a great fight scene. It's shot from like a distance, and you can kind of see how they're interacting with the environment.
Yeah,
like you can follow that fight so much better. There are way less cuts. I love that. These fight scenes were way more confusing, but there's a lot of them, and some of them are kind of impressive. Like there's some really interesting kind of effects going on. The avalanche stuff they actually shot with the Swiss military, because the Swiss military actually like they cause avalanches to prevent like snow buildup so that they don't like cause like serious damage. And then the bobsled scenes were shot with Olympic athletes, like Swiss Olympic bobsledders, which I think was kind of cool.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, I think so. So, you really like this movie, even though you think it's dumb.
I think it's dumb, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I do. You can think less of me if you want. I totally get it.
I can't think less of you. You're the love of my life. There's nothing I can do about that.
From what I understand from the contemporary reviews, I am in the minority in thinking that Lazenby did what he could with what he was given and like the acting skills that he had. A lot of people are coming down pretty hard on him.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that there isn't a reason for that. However, what I will say is that if you know that someone's not an actor, you're more likely to pick things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that people can't tell if somebody's a good actor or a bad actor or whatever, but, like, if somebody makes a big point where it's like, this is a model, this is his first movie, he's never acted before, you're going to be a lot harsher on that guy.
I agree, yeah.
Or if he's fantastic, you're going to be like, wow, he was great. Like, you sort of have expectations set up.
Sure.
And so I think to a certain extent, Lazenby is, I don't think he's overhated. Like, I don't think people, like, who have a bad opinion of him are wrong necessarily, but I don't watch this movie and ever think, oh, he's just awful. But I don't ever watch anything he does and go, wow, that was a nice little touch he did there. Never,
sure,
not once. He's just kind of going through the scenes.
How many Bond movies does he do?
Funny you should ask that. So, he was offered a 7-film deal.
You're fucking joking.
He turned it down.
Yeah.
His agent said that he didn't think that Bond would continue to work in the liberated 1970s. And so...
You don't think that a man who fucks his way through Europe on the reg is going to work in the liberated 1970s?
Apparently not. And so Lazenby decided to not do any more James Bond films.
Oh, he only did the one.
He did just this one.
He is one and done.
One and done, and it wasn't that good to begin with.
I feel bad for him.
He has said a couple of times later that he regretted that decision.
Yeah, I would bet. I would absolutely bet.
He like totally changed his look after this movie too. He like grew facial hair. He grew like really long hair. He did so totally different thing. He was in a movie 2 years later called Universal Soldier. You ever seen that movie? Ever heard of that movie?
It sounds familiar.
It's kind of well known. It's sort of a cult classic action film kind of thing.
Sure.
I don't know if it introduced that trope, but it's kind of got the classic, like, there's a retired soldier and they get him out of retirement to save the world kind of thing. But Universal Soldier is sort of a, I don't know if it's a parody, but it's kind of a message movie. It's very like anti-violence, you know,
Yeah.
very of the time, of the hippie time sort of thing. I have not really watched it all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I kind of know it by reputation. But he did that, and he did some other films, like some European kind of small films, action, crime, that kind of thing. None of them were particularly well received. Some of them were okay, I guess, but by like 1973, he had already had like 2 mental breakdowns and was like alcoholic and, you know, not doing very well. He'd spent all his money.
Oh, yikes.
So then he went to Hong Kong and did some martial arts films. He kind of dropped off the face of the planet for a little while. But he did eventually come back. He went to acting school, and he did some more films and TV. He was in that Gettysburg movie from the early 90s.
Yeah.
He was in a series of French erotic films called Emmanuel,
I was looking at those.
which apparently are a big deal in France. I've never heard of them before.
I looked at Universal Soldier, and that is a different man.
Yeah, it sure looks like it, huh?
That is not the same guy.
That literally is like, you know, 1969 to 1971. Honestly, you know what it is? It's the Sgt. Pepper effect. You know, it's like you've got Revolver Beatles and then you've got Sgt. Pepper Beatles, and it's a very similar kind of like, oh, they're like completely different looking now.
Yeah, you drop acid and you grow a mustache and your hair gets real long.
George Lazenby actually just recently retired from acting. He's 85 years old, and he just said that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Fair enough. Good for him.
You know, good for him. He had a pretty decent career. After kind of a couple of false starts, like he did end up having a pretty good career.
Apparently he's in something that's coming out this year.
Yeah, I mean, he probably did it before you know, it had just got released later. Albert Broccoli said that casting him was his biggest mistake.
Oh, no.
He said that Lazenby couldn't handle fame, couldn't handle the part. Even though he offered him a 7-film deal, couldn't do it. Peter Hunt kind of went back and forth. Peter Hunt, during the filming, did not talk to Lazenby directly. He sort of made it a point to only go through assistants and through, like, go-betweens. He thought that would help motivate him, or, like, it was really odd.
Yes, I'm always motivated when I'm isolated from people.
That was what he thought. And Peter Hunt kind of at the time said that, you know, just because he's in a movie doesn't make him an actor. But Peter Hunt has since later on kind of said, like, I was probably too hard on him. Like, you know, he's actually not that bad. I don't know. You know, that's just kind of how it is. As you said, the critical reception at the time, not great. People were pretty unhappy with it. Mostly poor reception of Lazenby. And the box office was $65 million. Which, for a movie with a $7 million budget, $65 million is a great take. That's a lot of profit.
Yeah.
But that's less than all but the first one. And the first one only cost $1 million to make.
Sure.
So this is the least profitable Bond film so far.
Immediate diminishing returns.
Yeah, you know, and when Lazenby said, yeah, I don't want to do it again, everyone kind of went like, yeah, that's probably for the best. You know, nobody really felt that bad.
We're all just going to take a mulligan on this casting and then try again later.
Here's the weird thing, though. This film has had a resurgence in popularity among Bond fans since then.
I can see why.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's a lot of stuff that you can dig into and be like, why? What is happening here?
You know, personally, I don't think it's all Lazenby. Like, okay, so Leonard Maltin. You know Leonard Maltin?
The name is very familiar.
Leonard Maltin is a famous film critic. Like one of the
One
of the big things that he did is he wrote these books, and these books had like every single film that was released, and it had his review of it.
Oh shit! My dad had those
Yeah,
books.
so did my dad.
Yeah.
They're dad books.
books.
They're books that your dad has. Hey, you out there, if you know your dad and you're on good speaking terms, and like he watches any films at all, he's probably got a Leonard Maltin film book in his basement somewhere.
They manifest there. They just kind of grow there like mold.
Yep. Leonard Maltin said that if it starred Sean Connery, this would have been the best one. He thought it might have been like nominated for Oscars. Like he thought that the script was great, everything about the movie was great, except for Lazenby.
I disagree.
I disagree completely.
I think Lazenby is passable. I think the biggest problem is like the directing and the editing.
I completely agree.
And also the sound.
The sound is weird. The directing is weird. I don't think the movie has that much when it comes to that thing. Now, the score, fantastic.
Oh my God.
John Barry outdid himself.
But fucking those giant brassy horns, amazing.
Great job. Some of the special effects are great. Some of them are not as great. That's kind of how it's been so far. It's kind of par for the course. That
probably really fun to throw a bunch of like strawberry jelly into that snowblower.
Yeah, I wonder how they did that.
Strawberry jelly, I'm telling you.
But like a bunch of modern directors cite this movie as like a big influence on them.
Okay, I can see like, you know, if you're oh god damn. Who's the guy who does like the Ocean's 11 movies?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Steven Soderbergh.
Oh, hey!
I was literally going to bring him up because Steven Soderbergh said that this is the only Bond film that he likes.
I can see in the edit, like I can see influence on like Ocean's 11 specifically.
Yeah, he literally said, and I quote, it's the only Bond film that's worth watching repeatedly. Meaning, like, every other movie you can watch once and be like, it's fine. He's like, this is the only one you would actually watch multiple times.
It's a Jackson Pollock.
No, because I like Jackson.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's modern art. You get out of it what you put into it. And if you're going to go in there and be like, oh, this is amazing, like, there's so much here, like, look at that, look at that, look at that. You can, like, pull whatever you want out of it.
Yeah, we watched a Steven Soderbergh film recently. We watched Presence.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty good. We liked it a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm playing through Presence in my head, trying to see if I can see any influence of this movie.
Not
on that
even
movie.
none. Not at all.
I don't. Maybe he like took the idea of like the weird like people stepping on lines and like lines being cut out and that influenced how lines were delivered.
I think you're overthinking it here.
Entirely possible, yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing that's gonna make you groan.
Ooh.
Christopher Nolan says that this is his favorite Bond film. And he says that it was a huge influence on Inception.
Bitch, where?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. Maybe a little.
In like the mountaintop stronghold that they're assaulting, I guess.
I think the visuals, like some of the like big shots and the visuals and the skiing and the like, you know, I can kind of see it, but like.
Do you know if Guy Ritchie likes this movie? I feel like Guy Ritchie likes this movie.
I have no idea. I don't know what Guy Ritchie feels about any of it.
He feels like we should all have another beer and watch the football game.
You know, gosh darn it, I do too. Where are we ranking this one? Now, okay.
Okay, am I ranking it on my personal I love this movie?
This is Red Letter Media rules. Most entertaining for any reason. Like your favorite. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's fun to rank things. This is a hot take. When people say, I'm going to rank a band's best albums, not my favorite ones, but their best albums, it's just like, that is coward shit. There is no value in that. Like, what is the thing that speaks to you?
Yeah, like, you can't say, like, this art is objectively better than this art, because art is subjective.
Fuck that. That sucks. Art is subjective. You're right, Hannah. You know, you can say most influential if you're trying to be objective. You're trying to be like a critic or a historian. That's fine. But if you're trying to, like, determine best and also your favorite as two separate things, go fuck yourself.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is the best movie.
Hannah, I have it last. I have it as my least favorite. This is what I said. I said this would happen. I said all the first 5 movies, people have a more or less kind of, you know, whatever opinion about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe you prefer one to the other. And I said On Her Majesty's Secret Service is where it becomes a split, where some people have it as their best film and some people have it as their worst. And I will tell you right now, if you go online and you type in ranking the James Bond films, you will find a list that has it near the bottom and you will find a list that has it near the top. And there's no other films that you will have on both of those ends. I swear to God, this is how it is.
This is the least spectrum of the Bond movies.
Yeah.
It is black or white here.
This is like the Rorschach blot test of James Bond films. It's completely fucking wild. I don't know why it is. I mean, I kind of understand why after watching it again. You know?
It is bizarre. It is weird. It is bad, but like it's kind of fun, and it is very fun to watch it and just be like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I don't drive, but you know that hand motion that people make when someone pulls like a bullshit move and they just kind of put their hand out like, hey bud, what?
Yeah.
I did that like 8 times during this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment where I had to sit up and hold my arms out to steady myself because I was rocked to my core about a thing that fucking happened on the screen.
Absolutely. So I'm going to look up a couple of rankings here for James Bond films because I don't want to like make too fine a point on this, but I really do think that this is a thing. So the tomato meter, we've been doing the Rotten Tomatoes thing.
Yeah.
The tomato meter has it ninth out of all 25, or technically 27 because they include the 2 weird ones as well, but ninth out of all of the films.
Okay, so that's still like top.
Still
like,
top 10,
half.
Still pretty good.
Top
Audience
half.
score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12th, a little bit lower. So
Sure.
not as good.
That's like smack dab in the middle.
Kind of smack dab in the middle.
Which would make sense if this is a very polarizing movie. If a bunch of people
Yes.
are like, this is so good, and a bunch of other people are like, this is so bad, then the audience would be pretty split.
Yes, absolutely. Entertainment Weekly, in their rankings, has this film 3rd out of 25.
Yes.
3rd. With only From Rush with Love and Goldfinger ahead of it. Yeah, there's a look on your face right now that I think is probably correct. I know where you're coming from here.
I've not seen the Daniel Craig ones, but like a lot of people, not a lot, but like a solid amount of people that I know that like James Bond think that that Daniel Craig is the best James Bond.
Yeah.
And that like those movies kind of elevate like simple spy nonsense.
Sure.
So it's a little bit surprising to me that a Daniel Craig did not crack their top 10 or their top 3.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Looking at the Esquire magazine, they have On Her Majesty's Secret Service 5th out of all of them, with only Skyfall, Daniel Craig,
Okay.
Spy Who Loved Me, Roger Moore, and then From Rush with Love and Goldfinger above it. People really love From Rush with Love. I like it, but I don't think it's nearly as good as a lot of people seem to think it is. Yeah. Wow. You know what? I'm looking at all of these like modern, like retrospective lists here, and almost all of them have them in the top 5. This is wild. Hang on a minute. Okay, no, this one does not have it number 1. I thought for a second this one had it number 1. This one has it numbered 9, which, seems more like
Sitting here watching you, I could just see the moment where like, is it me? Am I wrong?
Well, it's just weird because these things happen in my lifetime. Like, I remember being a kid and hearing people talk about James Bond and reading, like, online forums. When I say kid, I mean, like, middle school to, like, early high school. I don't mean, like, 5 years old. Yeah. And I remember people being like, yeah, Lazenby's horrible. This is one of the worst films. And, I think the biggest thing is for a long time, everyone was like, the Dalton films suck and Pierce Brosnan's great. And now if you go on like the James Bond subreddit, it's the opposite. They're like, Dalton's great, Brosnan sucks. And it's really interesting to see how they kind of flipped on that. And just recently, there's been this huge outpouring of love on the James Bond subreddit for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. People are talking about how much they love Lazenby, how much they think it's actually a great movie, and it might be the best one. And I don't see it. I just don't see it. Like,
Fair enough.
Even from a, like, there are some James Bond movies that are bad, but I love because they're ridiculous. We're going to watch Man with the Golden Gun pretty soon. That is at the top of that list of, like, it's horrible, but it's got Christopher Lee, and he's got a third nipple, and it's awesome.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. We'll get there. It's also got the worst intro song. We'll get there.
How many movies away is that?
2.
Damn it. It is 12:47 a.m. and I want to watch that movie right the fuck now.
I know, right? It's wild. I don't think this movie hits either of those. It's not over the top ridiculous enough for me to love it the way I do, like, Man with a Golden Gun. It's also not good enough for me to love it the way I like Goldfinger. or like the Daniel Craig movies. It's just kind of like not good at either of those things, and so I have it out of the 6 that we've watched. I have it at the bottom. I just do.
That's fair. I get it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, OMS fans. You know?
I understand. I understand why people would not like this movie. And like I kind of remember what you're talking about because I was very much into like Cracked and Cracked's like the video department of Cracked, and they had a series called After Hours, and I remember them talking about like the best or like the James Bond theory that like they're all the same guy.
Yeah.
And I remember them cracking jokes about Lazenby. And yeah, I don't know. I guess like all things, culture goes through shifts.
Yeah.
And everything will boomerang back around eventually.
Yeah. It's wild to me. It's wild to me how it's happened in my own lifetime and to on a level that I sort of didn't realize. You know, I feel like I have my finger on the pulse, and then you go on like Reddit one day and you realize, oh no, everybody disagrees with me. I thought I was in the mainstream here.
Yeah, well, like, you know, it's like it comes out, a bunch of people love it, and then there's like, oh, Thing is bad actually, and then there's a million video essays about why Thing bad, and then, you know, you get a couple years distance from it and you look back and it's like, oh, we might have been a bit harsh on Thing, maybe Thing wasn't so good, and then there are a million video essays about Thing good actually.
Yeah.
And then sooner or later someone's gonna be like, hey, do you guys remember all the criticisms that we had of Thing? And like, I would love it if people were like, hey, Thing nuance, but like we're just going to keep going back and forth between Thing good, Thing bad. I'm going to go with Thing nuance. This is my personal favorite. I totally understand if you hate this movie.
I don't hate it. There are James Bond movies I hate.
Sure.
This is not one of them.
Oh, God, sorry. I'm just remembering that part of my criticism and part of my ranking is how the women are treated in this movies, and if I'm taking that into account, I guess I can't put this at number 1 because they treat women so bad. Like there's not even Tracy, like she's barely a whole person. Her thing is like, I'm so sad and depressed, and then a man loves me, so I guess I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then there's again a gaggle of giggling girls who are not real people. They might as well be like drones, robots, whatever.
Again, I think I kind of said this. I think Diana Rigg brings a lot to the character.
Yes.
I wish they dealt with her backstory more. She, like, you know, and also the fact that
we get her backstory from her dad,
not from her.
Not from her, yeah. Of him just being like, oh, I sent her off to boarding school, and that was probably not a good choice for me, and now she hates me. So I took away her what's it called? Allowance. I took away her allowance, and now she's acting out.
I wish we could have just heard in her own words where she was coming from, why she feels the way that she does. Because I think just a 2-minute scene that did that, and she talked about why she didn't want to live anymore, whatever she wanted to do, I think that would make the arc of the character much more interesting.
I agree.
But again, like, even the good James Bond movies, at least at this point in history, they're not well written. They're really not. They're good because they have like a good flow and there's interesting things happening and there's some like cool special effects and production design. Thank you, Ken Adam. You're like, if
saving grace.
I swear to God, if Ken Adam didn't exist, no one would give a fuck about James Bond.
I agree.
I'm going to say that right now. Ken Adams is the only reason anyone gives a fuck about James Bond.
Yeah.
Even me, and I care a lot.
I agree. Yeah, without the like supervillain layer portion of it, I don't think that these movies would be as iconic as they are.
They're just no. They would be a bland, boring spy thriller that they would have made 5 of, and they would have made money, and everyone would have forgotten about them.
Which is kind of why like people don't really like we haven't really talked about or like watch. I don't know if we're planning on watching, but there are like a bunch of spy slop movies that have come out now, and nobody remembers a goddamn thing about that.
No, and in a lot of ways, after James Bond, no one else can do a spy movie that doesn't reference James Bond.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I'm trying to think of one. Maybe like the Day of the Jackal. Like that's like the only thing I can think of where it's like an actual good spy movie that doesn't like in any way reference James Bond.
Oh, good. Okay, that is also a criteria. I was gonna say because Taylor Lautner was in that movie where he was like the son of a spy and was on the run from someone, and I don't think that they referenced anything good in that one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
that's our thoughts on James Bond.
Yeah. Next time we are going to go to Vegas.
Ooh.
And Sean Connery's going to meet us there.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's right. He's back.
Is he Bond?
Yeah.
Why?
Good question. We'll talk about it next time. All right, I'm Donovan.
I'm Hannah.
And this was My Thing, Your Thing. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.